Hi, this is Carl, and what I'm going to speak about in this video are two products which have been produced under Linguagenesis for two different types of learners of Spanish. On the one hand, we have those people who are absolute beginners in the language and have little or no previous knowledge of the language, with the exception of, let's say, a few words and phrases, a few greetings, a few numbers, and certain letters of the alphabet. And on the other hand, we have people, individuals, who have learnt Spanish previously to at least a beginner's level and are then on their way to trying to master the language at a pre-intermediate level. And each of these products constitutes a series of PowerPoints which have been produced using Microsoft PowerPoint 2003, although I do imagine that the versions which I have produced are compatible with later versions of that same product. And we have in the first set 22 presentations, in the second set 28 presentations, and in each case the individual presentations follow on from one another in a logical fashion, in a specific sequence, so that there is a defined and concrete structure to the learning process, whereby the emphasis in a way is on grammar, but at the same time the type of structures which keep coming up are realistic structures which will be commonly used by native speakers themselves. The types of vocabulary and the same words do keep coming up, do keep cropping up again and again, and therefore this should enable learners to realise, pick up on that, and hopefully subconsciously the vocabulary can be absorbed. But as far as the grammar is concerned, again, the sequence of the presentations is structured in such a way as to make this easy to grasp. The explanations are simplified in layman's terms, and the exercises themselves, which are given to the learner to practice the language, are varied. We have, for example, gap fills, word scrambles, mix and match, give an accurate translation into the target language of the sentence which is given, find the deliberate mistake or deliberate mistakes which have been made within a translation, or say whether or not the examples which have been translated have been done so correctly or incorrectly. So there we have the true and false exercise. Now these aren't just any PowerPoints. Each of them was created between around 6 and 9 months each, and what I had to do was to give consideration to the types of language which would be useful for absolute beginners, and so I came up with, to start with, just basic isolated words which could be pluralized. So I think I started off with the pluralization of nouns, and at the same time what I was aiming to do was to give words which people could look at and imagine that the rules of pronunciation of these words would be similar to English, or would be the expected pronunciation. But then over the course of the presentations, what I then did was to, while discussing particular aspects of the language, apply different terminology and different explanations as regards how the pronunciation of the words could be mastered and how the intonation could be got dead on. Now, in addition to the series and the individual presentations of both items being structured in such a way that there is a defined and obvious, as I say, structure to the actual PowerPoints, not only do we have that, but we also have the opportunity for people to revise certain aspects of the language in revision slideshows, and then on a more subconscious level there may be a chance for specific and other areas of the language to be revised within previous slideshows or slideshows which do come after a particular topic, without there being an actual specific slideshow which reads, for example, revision of ser en estar. The ser en estar aspect might be able to be revised within a presentation which does not have that title, but which is a follow-on from a series which was originally titled, let's say, An Introduction to Ser en Estar. These individual PowerPoint presentations are also accompanied using colour coding techniques. Things are underlined to be highlighted. Again, there's an exposed logic to different word endings, the reasons to why words translate in the way that they do. There's also an audio, not an audio-visual reference, a reference between the words and a visual representation of the objects to which those words apply. So this enables words to be related to pictures, the pictures to be related then back to words, but as I said, the main emphasis is on the development of sentence building, being able to understand the logic behind the language to realise why certain things translate into the target language the way that they do. And while I've not yet been able to attach an audio companion to these PowerPoints, what I'm aiming to do is to find an application which enables me to do that in future. But just for now, because the majority of us are visual learners, then these products are ideal to a majority of Spanish language learners, and given the popularity of them on eBay and Amazon, I'm sure that a lot of Spanish learners out there would benefit from them as well. Now what I'll do is to continue this discussion of the PowerPoints in part 2 of this video, and hopefully be able to just summarise and clarify the points which I've made here. Okay.